And we are live. Welcome to the MLB Strategy Show. It is Wednesday, September 27th. I am Josh Engleman, here to break down an 8-game MLB slate. Mets and Marlins? Mets and Marlins. Not included in the slate for tonight. Game time has changed, so we only get 8 games on DK. More than okay with it. Hope you guys had some success last night. I had a good day overall, but the Diamondbacks actually hurt me because the chalk got there. It invalidated my giant Rays stand and all of the Dodgers that I had. If the Diamondbacks wouldn't have been what they were, I think it would have been a pretty big night. I was up there early, but the Diamondbacks just put it on everybody, and I didn't have enough of them. So I got a lot back. Like, my lineups were good, but I didn't have the keys to the top of the leaderboard, unfortunately. Like 8 games. We've got NFL Strategy Show Matchups Edition coming up after this. That's the big one, folks. So if you're looking for any NFL shows on our end, you best believe you're getting it today. Don't miss that at all. They will be starting at 11 a.m. I'll be back for MLB Live Before Lock tonight at 6 p.m. with Greg Ehrenberg. So don't skip out on that one. We got another nice slate. 50K relay throw. We don't have too many of these left on the baseball side, but this nice little 8-gamer, I'm pretty happy with it. I'm just finishing off my final sim, and then we're going to be able to get started. Hope you guys had a good day. Yeah, Adam was up there too, I saw. We all tumbled when the Diamondbacks started to die. Or when I guess the opposite of that. Alrighty. Weather issues tonight doesn't look like we have any, so that'll be a good start. We are just about there on the final crunch. I think we can get ourselves started because we want to make sure we're out of here we'll be out of here on time no matter what. Jeremy Savage took down the $55. Is that a head-to-head? I can't imagine you beating multiple people in a contest. I'm just kidding, man. Congratulations. That's awesome. It's probably a decent payday. Good to see. All righty. Let's go ahead and put the phone on the charger. New iPhone came yesterday. Good stuff. Like it. Quicker than I expected. Very happy to see it. Are we done yet? 28 out of 30. We're so close. So close to refreshing. I don't want to talk about anything until I have all of my lineups built, where's that going to get us? If I don't have my actual stuff, it's not going to get us anywhere. All right, so let me copy this over to my Crunch workbook, and then we can start talking little baseball for today. I'm pumped for this slate, man. I'm going to miss baseball, honestly. Obviously, I'm an NBA guy. And I want the NBA to be here. I like talking about the NBA more, but man, I love MLB DFS. It's just a better product. It's more fun for me, but it's going to go away, unfortunately. It's going to go away soon. All right. Crunch is done, which means I can go ahead and refresh this bad boy. And now we can figure out what I have. Did I get to the Dodgers, who are massively owned? The Dodgers are a better stack today than they were yesterday, which is just not fun to think about. Yeah. Ooh, okay. That's a different amount of stacks. I am getting to the Dodgers, but I have a very different play at the bottom that we can talk about, I guess, right now. Let's get into it, folks. Here we go. Hit that like button if you haven't done it already. Shout out to Owner's Box for being the sponsor. We'll touch on them in a little bit. But first, let's talk some baseball. Blue Jays, 3.6 run implied total. Yankees, 3.5. It's Jose Barrios going for Toronto. And it is Garrett Cole going for the Yankees. Barrios, 8,600, and he's going to get some love here. Somewhere in that 20-25% owned range, and that's where I think he should be as well. 22% chance of being a top 2 pitcher. I've got his implied ownership at about 20%, so I don't think the 26 is all that crazy. There's certainly some strikeouts to be had in this Yankees lineup. That's not going to be much of an issue. it's not even that good of a lineup. Like outside of Judge and Torres, maybe Stanton too. I mean, honestly, like Judge might be the only aggressively above average hitter that exists in the Yankees lineup. I think that stands out as something you need to pay attention to. But for Barrios, has struggled a little bit with lefty power. That's not an issue against the Yankees. 162 xISO to righties isn't ideal. He's like right at a league average starter, and at 8,600 for today's slate, I think he's a completely reasonable value option. It's weird. He's the fourth most expensive pitcher today, but he's $1,800 cheaper than Framber Valdez. Jose Barrios is basically just the most expensive of the non-pay-ups. I have no problem getting to him. I do have a bit of a problem getting to Garrett Cole, though, here. $12K for Cole. That's $600 more expensive than Pablo Lopez. And if I'm being honest, I think Pablo Lopez is miles better than Cole. I actually like Framber Valdez overall, even before I take into account salary. I like Framber Valdez more than I like Cole. Framber Valdez is $1,800 cheaper than Cole. So Cole's 16% owned. I don't think that that's crazy. He should be around 15% owned. Like I think that's the proper amount of ownership. I don't expect to be getting to him. I have 2%. I see this as a fade situation for me. I'm going to be getting to Pablo Lopez, who is very clearly the top pitcher on today's slate. And I think I'll get to Valdez a little bit more than I get to Cole. Just a little bit too expensive. As we talk about bats, I think we have to start with the Yankees because the Blue Jays face Cole. The Yankees get to face Jose Barrios, and Barrios is 25% owned. I immediately like that sort of leverage. Give me 1 second here. I need to grab aggregate ownership of this team. Let's grab Yankees. Let's go to my Sims. Look that there, and whoop, put that comma in the wrong spot. Oop, put that column in the wrong spot. I'm clicking all over the place today. It's like my hand doesn't work. Not what I'm looking for. Okay, perfect. So, wanted to make sure that I had the aggregate ownership here for these guys. So, Yankees are only like 3-ish% owned. Highest owned guy in the Yankees lineup is Aaron Judge. If he plays or not, we'll see. The Yankees will be an interesting value. So they're ninth in my top stack, tied for seventh in top value. They are 6% owned overall. Or I have 6% of the Yankees. They are 3% owned overall. So I'm 2xing the field on the Yanks. I have 14 stacks. I'm really happy to be there. Like, these guys are cheap outside of Judge. You've got Barrios in a quarter of the lineups on the opposite side. It's a terrible run environment. Like 3.5 run implied total for the Yanks is bad, but I think they're a little interesting in the larger field GPPs because of that Barrios ownership and the fact that they do have power. Like Judge, Torres, Wells, Stanton, even Volpe or Florial. Like, there's enough power here to get it done. I think the Yankees are a very interesting, sneaky stack for today's slate, especially given just where their ownership is. I mean, we're talking about the Yankees being 13th in overall ownership. My phone's shouting at me too. I like the Yankees as a sneak stack. I certainly don't like the Jays. Like, obviously, Cole's getting a little bit of ownership, but I don't know why you would want to target against Garrett Cole. 14th in my top stack out of 16, 15th in top value. I just don't see it. If that's the play that you want to take, go for it. I do not recommend the Toronto Blue Jays. I'm ranking this game Barrios, Cole, Yankees bats, Blue Jays bats. I'll tell you what. I love coffee. It's really, really, really good. It just really changes my morning. It's the flavor, too. I just prefer that, like, burnt chocolate taste. I don't know. Jeffrey, how's the new iPhone? Did I get it yesterday? I did. I got it around 2 o'clock yesterday. I love it, honestly. Like, it's the It does the exact same thing that my previous phone did. I wasn't that far off the beaten path. I had a 12. I jumped to the 15 Pro Max, but it's snappy. It's quick. It's clean. I'm contemplating, like, I bought a case for it. I'm contemplating just running it no case just because it feels great in your hand. I'm just so nervous to like smash it. But if I have Apple Care, I guess I don't really care if I smash it. Um no, I like it. They're fantastic devices. If you're gonna spend a lot of time on your phone, and I do, it works. It works. Arthur, thanks for being here. I want to put that up on the screen because I know you've been a big proponent of our shows and our content and my stuff in particular. He said, "Thanks for an awesome season, Josh. You're the reason I bought all the tools and I'm making money with everything stochastic and for all the prize picks cards. Can't wait for NBA. Appreciate your work." I agree, man. I agree. I can't wait for NBA either. I'm excited. I'll have prize picks cards and everything out again for the NBA once we start that back up again. So you'll get that every day and more. For the NBA, I have a better feel for it all. So I'll put out even more than just your standard early morning card. Yeah, Nez. I bought like a really Apple got rid of the leather cases. I used to really like their leather case. I have it on my old one here because it just gets like a really nice patina. Like it gets like dirty in all the right places and it darkens from all like your hand oil and dirt. I really love the way that looked. But Apple got rid of the leather case this year. So I found like the next best alternative for for a leather case, and I have that coming. But I'm contemplating not getting it. I'm gonna my screen protectors come today. I'm definitely putting that on because I don't want to smash. I'd rather get a second line of defense there. But I'm thinking about just not getting the case. It's the phone just feels so good. It's really a technological marvel of like the physical features of an iPhone. All right. As much as everyone wants to hear about me having an iPhone, I don't think that that's the case at all. Although it's fun to talk about. Look, it's new technology. Vic, no. Okay, Vic says no case. El Negro Loco says get the case. I think I'm going to go no case. I mean, the case is already on the way, but I might just keep it in the drawer. I don't care. I'd rather. The only downside is that, like, I'm trading in my old iPhone. It's in flawless condition. It's been in a case with a screen cover on it the entire time for 2.5 years. It looks brand new if you take everything off. So there's that, which, like, I'm certainly, my phone is going to be beat to shit in 2.5 years. Laffy in the house, no case. I just want to see the phone break. I won't care if it breaks, though. That's the thing. Back in the day, there was no Apple. Like, if I didn't have Apple Care and I broke a phone, it was like, I'm not going to be able to get a new phone. Now it's just like, okay, well, I'll have a new phone in like 2 days, so I can handle it. My problem is I drop my phone a lot. That's my real issue. The amount of times that I get out of my car with it on my lap and then toss that shit into like a parking lot, countless. I'm not coming back from that with that phone, man. It's gonna shatter into a bazillion pieces. I assume I end up putting the case on. Honestly, the real answer is going to be this: if the phone feels good with the case on it, I'll keep it. But right now, I like the sleek nature of it. It's all going to depend on the thickness. Everybody loves the thickness. All right. Atlanta Braves, 5.7 run implied total. Chicago Cubs, 4.8 run implied total. Darius Vines going for Atlanta. Jameson Taillon is going for the Cubbies. No ownership coming into Taillon. He's 4% owned. You should not get to him at 6,600. Braves have the second highest implied total. And the real piece that matters here, it's the Braves. Like, there's no way you want Jameson Taillon against the Braves. It's just not going to be the thing. You probably don't want Darius Vines, although he is pulling 12% ownership at 6,400. I don't really agree with that. More of a 5 to 10% guy. There's no strikeouts here. If you're looking for value, I think you can find it in better places. So to me, pass. No Vines, no Taillon. We can talk stacks, though. I'm going to talk about the Cubs first. The Cubs, I have 5th in top stack, 9th in top value. They are getting 7% ownership, which is just shy of what the Braves are getting. Although I think the Cubs are more likely to be stacked. Ronald Acuna is just pulling the most ownership, so it skews the Braves a little bit. I have 15 Cubs stacks. I have 8.5%. I'm a little north of the field here. I just think they look pretty good. I certainly don't worry about Vines at all. The park plays up power. It's a really nice road run total for the Cubbies. Matchup works. Most owned guy is probably Suzuki, around 11%. Everybody else single digits. So I'm happy to take a stand. I think Mike Tauchman is your best Cub for today. If he's leading off at 3,500, that's just a value that you can't get away from. Only 96 pitches for Vines to lefties, but he did give up a 177x ISO. For Atlanta, it's just really hard to pay up for them. Like, they're going to be expensive, sort of like the Dodgers are expensive. But the Dodgers have a 7+ run implied total, and the Braves are just shy of 6. I have no problem getting to Atlanta. They're my number 2 stack. If you watch the contenders videos that are out, they grade out really well. But I have them 13% to be a top 2 stack, or to be a top stack. The Dodgers are at 30. So I have no problem getting to Atlanta. If you can afford them, great. They're an incredible stack. I have 3%. I just find them to be very difficult to roster today, especially because of Pablo Lopez. Because Pablo Lopez looks so good at 11,400, he's pulling 50 to 60% ownership. It's really hard to get to Atlanta if you know you're going to get Lopez as well. So I like them. To me, they're probably easier filler. I think everybody's probably in agreement on that one now at this point. But if I'm ranking this game, it's Cubs bats. In terms of usability, for me, it's Cubs bats, Braves bats, Vines, then Tyon. Gets better and better with every sip. All right, let's see what else we got going on here. Subash says Tauchman left the game last night. Not sure why. For stuff like that, I basically don't care. We're going to get these lineups one way or the other. I'm not trying to dig into that kind of stuff in the morning. I appreciate you letting me know. I don't mean it like that, but it's just for stuff like that. In the NBA, that's why, for other sports, for the NBA, we got to talk through hypotheticals like that. For baseball, it's just oh, no, he's just not in the lineup. It's some other dickbag sitting first, and then the change just gets made. So I don't try to hypothesize stuff like that. Twins and A's, definitely getting to this one. This is the game that I am most exposed to right now. Let's talk it through. Going right back to the A's. Didn't work yesterday. Going to do it again today. And spoiler alert, in no way do I like getting to the A's today. But we're going to talk it through. Pablo Lopez, 11,400, starting for the Twins. 5.2 run implied total. 3.1 for the A's, who are starting Joey Estes. Estes is 5,300, 3% owned. So let's get into the Twins. Let's get into Lopez. He's the best pitcher on today's slate. This shouldn't be all that surprising. The A's are either the worst offense or the second worst offense today, depending on whether or not you want to include the Rockies. Since the Rockies are in cores, I'd like to say that the A's are the worst offense you can get to. They project with a 27% K rate. I have Pablo Lopez today set for 8 strikeouts. 8 is a baseline projection on Pablo Lopez. I'm pulling up his strikeout prop right now. It is set at 8.5, juiced to the under -134. So I think I'm spot on for 8. Pablo Lopez, 9+ strikeouts is +108. It is really hard to want to go to anything other than Pablo Lopez, and I'm getting there. He's 60% owned. I think his real ownership is in the 40 to 50 range. I have 54%. I have him for 25.5 fantasy points, 5 full points ahead of Framber Valdez, 6 full points ahead of Garrett Cole. Pablo Lopez is the best guy you can get to. He's the first name you click to any cash lineup that exists today. If Pablo Lopez isn't one of your pitchers, you're playing cash games wrong. I don't care about Joseph Estes. We're not going to talk about him at all. Joey Estes, whatever. It's Joseph and Steamer. Let's talk bats. We'll start on the Twins side. Minnesota Twins, 8% owned in the aggregate. I have them 6th in top stack, 2nd in top value. This is a team that I love because of the value today, especially against Estes and the A's. Now, they're going to be popular. They're going to get a bunch of love today for sure. However, this team is easy to get to. as easy as it gets to get to is the rest of this Minnesota team. Most expensive bat, 4,700. Simple. Getting a couple guys in that like 10 to 15% owned range. Nothing crazy. Let's see. We saw Zach Everhart said Matt Wallner looks exceptional today. Yep, 3,400 looks great. The whole team looks great. I have 31 Minnesota stacks and 17% ownership. I'm 2xing the field and then some. This is my favorite stack of the day that isn't the Dodgers. Like this is the team that I'm going to like. I'm getting a lot of the Dodgers. I have more Dodgers than anybody else. That's a different talking point. Minnesota is the team that I want to take the stand on that isn't a Coors team. Zach, am I worried about his pitch count? Not at all. No worries whatsoever. If I needed to be worried, well, put it this way. At 6 o'clock, if all of his props and everything still look the same and these lines look the same, then I have no reason to be worried about his pitch count. If you see his strikeout prop go from 8.5 to 7.5 or something, then maybe you need to start worrying about him throwing a little bit less than you would expect. So ultimately, yeah, I want to load up on the Twins. Alex Kirilloff is the guy that I'm getting to the most right now. I do think he is the best option on the Twins. $3,200 first baseman. He has the highest implied odds for me. Now I'm going to say something. No one's going to agree with. This is not me advocating for what this is. This is simply a package of lineups that I will play in the relay throw tonight to try to maximize my winnings. 15th out of 16 teams in top stack. I have them 14th in stack score. They are essentially unowned because of Pablo Lopez. But I am getting to the A's as well as Lopez. Remember, I have 54% Pablo Lopez. I also have about 10% of the A's, 22 stacks, in fact. So I am willing to get to the opposite side of the Pablo Lopez ownership because I think that there's just something to be had there. Now, does this look good? No way. It does not in any way look like a spot I want to get to. 125 x ISO to lefties, 128 x ISO to righties. Pablo Lopez doesn't get hit hard by anybody. But I am going to take my shot. So I'm going to have some stacks of the A's. At least it looks like that right now. If we continue to see this big ownership on Pablo, like if Pablo Lopez isn't this owned in 6 hours, then I'll have a little bit less A's because there's less utility. But for right now, I'm happy to have both sides of it. I want a ton of Lopez, but I do want to be on an 8-game slate. I want to have the opportunity to get to the opposite side if Pablo Lopez goes wrong. So I rank this game Lopez 1, easy. Minnesota Twins 2, easy. But then it's A's bats 3, Joey Estes 4. Alrighty, folks. Hit that like button if you haven't done it yet. 117 people in the house. Remember, NFL show is coming up next, top of the hour. You're going to get Laffy, and you're going to get Neil breaking everything down for the NFL. It's going to be a good day. So make sure you're hitting the like button, folks. The more we get likes in this show, it boosts up the show after that. Now, I don't know if that's totally true, but it seems like an idea that we should move forward with. Why wouldn't we want to do that? Now, am I missing anything else for this show? We're going to talk about Owner's Box in a second. I still don't know what their contest is like, so we're going to preview that after the next game, or maybe the second game that we do. Yeah, maybe we'll get it through Coors, and then we'll take a look at Owner's Box. I'm pulling up my talking stuff today. Am I missing anything? Nope, not really. Okay, let's get to game number 4. Brewers and Cardinals. This is also another game that I am getting to, and I'm surprised. I'm seeing today as a day where I'm going to get a lot of value bats, the Twins, the Cardinals, which we're about to talk about, because of the upper end of pitching and the fact that I'm getting to the Dodgers. So, Wade Miley, 4.3 run implied total for Milwaukee. Zach Thompson for the Cardinals today, who we thought was going yesterday. He is 5,900. Wade Miley is 12% owned at 7,400. Zach Thompson is 3% owned at 5,900. I'm just going to get to Zach Thompson here. I don't think that these guys are all that different. And you save 1,500 going to Thompson over Wade Miley. I'm just going to flip-flop their ownership. I think these guys are the same. One's getting ownership, the other isn't. Give me the guy that isn't. So give me a little bit of Zach Thompson. I have 11%. He's a value guy. Nothing more, nothing less. It's a tough park for power, but I am going to get to a little bit of Zach Thompson. And then I'm going to get to a little bit of the St. Louis Cardinals. So I have them 10th in top stack. That's out of 16. I have the St. Louis Cardinals as my number one value stack. Paul Goldschmidt is 4,900. The next most expensive guy is 4K Tommy Edman. 4 through 9 in their lineup is all sub 3K. Multiple MPEs in the lineup. Goldschmidt there is still good. These guys are 3% owned in the aggregate. I have 30 Cardinal stacks. Now, again, I will not go 5x the field here. I'll bring that number down. But I think St. Louis looks really nice here. This is a park that 109 park factor to righties, 110 to lefties right away. You're getting a park that plays up a little bit of power. Wade Miley, 127 x ISO to lefties, 180 to righties with basically no strikeout rate to speak of. Wade Miley right now, based on the lineup that we have in, is set to face 9 righties. He doesn't strike them out, 14% K rate. He doesn't generate swinging strikes, sub 8% swinging strike rate to righties, and he gives up a bunch of power. Love the Cardinals. Maybe their ownership comes up throughout the day. I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's going to. Tommy Edman projected for, relatively minimal. But even if this were 5 or 6%, I think the Cardinals are getting slept on. Love this spot for a value opportunity. Wade Miley is not that guy. Give me Juan Yepez for 2,600 if you're looking to buy homers. Give me Baker for 2,300 if you're looking to buy home runs. Goldschmidt, obviously. Unfortunately, you can only play Goldie and Baker at the same time, so I kind of hope that Goldschmidt just sits. Love the Cardinals today as a sneak stack. Don't love the Brewers. I essentially don't have them. They are 6% owned against Zach Thompson. Like, that part looks good, but 11th in top stack. I think the Brewers and the Cardinals are the same in top stack, but the Cardinals are first in value and the Brewers are 11th. So I don't see much here. William Contreras, always in play as a $4,700 catcher. I don't want anything else, really. I have 3% of him. Give me the Cardinals bats. I rank this Cardinals bats 1, Brewers bats 2, Zach Thompson and Wade Miley. If you win with a St. Louis Oakland stack, they should give you the keys to Wilmington. I agree. I'll have one. That much I could tell you. If Locke were right now, I'd have one. All right, we shouldn't have to spend too much time here. I didn't realize what I just did there. 5.3 run implied total for the Rockies. 7.2 for the Dodgers. Noah Davis going for Colorado. Do not play him. He's bad. He probably shouldn't even be a starter in the majors right now. Emma Sheehan going for the Dodgers. He's 2% owned at 6,200. I don't really see the need. It's up to you. Dodgers are the number one stack by a mile. I think they're like 3 times as likely to be the top stack. They're not even a bad value because of the bottom of the lineup. They are 20% owned in the aggregate. I don't have an issue with that. Like, these guys, Max Muncy is going to get like 30% ownership. All these other Dodgers are going to get like 20 plus, and they should. This is the Dodgers in cores. It's the same thing we got yesterday. They smashed yesterday. Not enough to outpace the Diamondbacks, but still great. There's nothing else to say. I have a ton of them. I have 20 stacks. I have 20%. I'm matching the field. These guys work as filler. They work as everything. Are the top guys a little overowned? Yeah, they are. But nobody is in this good of a spot. So if you want to play the Dodgers, by all means. I expected the Rockies to be a little underowned. They normally are in these spots. Not today. 11% owned in the aggregate. I have them at 9% stack score. 3rd in top stack, 6th in top value. I don't have any Rocky stacks today, and I normally get to them. Ooh, out of breath. Don't like that. 5% owned for me. So I have like half the field. I'm getting to Tovar at 4,400 because I think he just fills out nicely for short, but everybody else I'm very, very massively under on. Bryant, McMahon, Rogers, Elias Diaz, Montero, Doyle. Like, I'm not getting to the bottom of this Rockies lineup. I thought that I would because I usually do. But if their ownership is going to be on the higher end, if we're going to get up around 10, 11%, I think we could stay away from the Rockies today. So I'm half the field on the Rockies, full field on the Dodgers. It's clearly Dodgers bats, Rockies bats, and nothing else, though. I have 4% of Sheehan. Don't read into that too much. It's a value option that is just randomness. It's not me saying that I like him by any means. But play the Dodgers. All right, folks. Now is the time. We're going to share the screen on Owner's Box, presenting sponsor of this show. We need to find out, have they released their contest yet? So we'll start by just explaining what you should do for Owner's Box. Click the link in the description and sign up. They're going to give you a bonus match of up to $500. Whatever you put in north of $10, they're going to match it. My recommendation is to go all the way to the top. Try to get the full 500 because that's free money. And anytime you can get free money, you should take advantage. Great contest. The best contest in the industry every Sunday has existed on Owner's Box. Giant overlay. $50K up top for the first 2 weeks, $35K last week. Rumor has it it's going to be bigger than that this week. I don't know. We're going to find out shortly. If it isn't, that's still fine. I'm still expecting it to be the best contest. And no kickers, no defense, super flex. A much more fun environment for playing NFL DFS. That's not all you get, though. When you click the link and sign up with at least $10, you get our NFL Sims Max package for a week. That will cover you for showdowns. It's going to cover you for the Sunday main slate. That'll cover you for Owner's Box, DraftKings, FanDuel. This is our new Sims tool. You're able to generate a player pool or a lineup pool of 10,000 lineups in like a minute. Simulate those lineups against each other. You'll get ROI numbers on individual players, stacks, lineups. The level of detail that you'll have to build out your lineups will be unrivaled in comparison to what you've been doing in the past. Sign up using the link in the description. Here we go. What does it look like on Owner's Box for this Sunday? Do we have a contest yet? We're running 35K again. So we did not get what I thought we were going to get, which was the increase. I'm making this a little bit bigger so you guys can see it. But we're still getting an $175,000 prize pool, 35K to first. It's still $15 to get in it. 13,875 entries. That's the same amount of entries they had in week 2. That's the same amount of entries they had in week 3. Both of those days hit around 10K in it. This is going to be, I'm going to say it again. Listen to what I'm saying. If you want to play NFL DFS on Sunday for the main slate, you will not be able to enter a better contest anywhere. Owner's Box, DraftKings, FanDuel, Yahoo. None of them will look better than this contest on Owner's Box. This is the best one. You're expecting overlay. Every entry that you put into this contest will look better than it did if it just simply filled by a lot. Your expectation on this contest most likely is positive money on the value of that lineup overall. Get into Owner's Box. Click the link in the description. Oh, what a great deal. I cannot wait to get in that contest. I had massive expected ROI. Still didn't get there this week. When I get that one, I'm going to be very, very happy. Let's bring Excel back up. We got about 15 minutes before we got to duck on out of here. But first, we're going to finish up the final 3 games of tonight's slate. I don't have any coffee left. That is disappointing. Very disappointing. But what are you going to do? Nothing I can do about it now. We just need to finish this up. Angels and Rangers. 3.9 run implied total for the Angels. 4.8 for the Rangers. Griffin Canning and Dane Dunning. Both of these guys are pulling basically the same ownership. Canning at 12%, Dunning at 13%. They're separated by $500. Canning slightly more expensive. I think they should both be exactly where they are from an ownership perspective. I don't see these guys all that different. I have Canning projected for 1/10 of a fantasy point more than Dane Dunning. But for right now, I think it's just a salary thing. I'm getting to 27% Dunning. That's 2x the field. I'm only getting to 15% Canning. But I'm getting to both pitchers at least with the field here. And I'm fine with it. Obviously, Dane Dunning has a better matchup than Griffin Canning. Griffin Canning is the better DFS pitcher. Like, he gets strikeouts. Dane Dunning doesn't do that. But Griffin Canning has to face the Rangers. Dane Dunning has to face the Angels. Griffin Canning has a lot of problems with righty power. That looks really good for Marcus Semien, Garcia, Josh Young, Garver. Those guys are going to look great today against Griffin Canning. Lefties for the Rangers, not as good, but Seager and Lowe can do whatever they want. On the opposite side, though, if we're talking about the Angels facing Dane Dunning, we could look at it a little bit differently. 146 ex-ISO to lefties, 168 to righties. Dunning doesn't get touched up all that much. The problem is the Angels just aren't very good. So the Angels are 4% owned in the aggregate. The Rangers are 6%. I think that makes sense. The Angels are the value team. These teams are flip-flop, basically. I have the Rangers 4th in top stack, 13th in value. I have the Angels 13th in top stack and 4th in value. I'm really not getting to either team. 4% of the Rangers, 3% of the Angels. I have a few scattered stacks of both. I think I prefer the pitching to the hitting, but this is just a very blurry game to me. I'm going to rank it for me, Dunning, Canning, Rangers, Angels. But I'm okay with sort of grabbing whatever you want here. I definitely think there's some downside to Canning because of that righty power issue, especially here in LA. Luckily, it's not a lefty power issue for Canning because lefties just blow up in this park. Very difficult game to really put your finger on. Maybe they'll have like some really changed up lineups and things will look a little bit easier here later on. But I think all 4 pieces of it, both pitchers, both stacks, relative to their current ownership, all look very similar. The Rangers are probably getting slept on the most just because they have the most real talent. But the prices are real on Semien and Seager. So, and like Adolis Garcia, 5K in the 5 hole, that's just tough to get to. Mariners and Astros. This is a game that is very easy to stay away from if you want to get away from the hitting. 3.7 run implied total for Seattle. 4 for the Astros. Bryce Miller going for the Mariners. Framber Valdez going for the Astros. Bryce Miller is 3% owned. He's probably under-owned. If you told me that you wanted to get to 10% of Bryce Miller today, I wouldn't have a huge issue with it. I don't think that Bryce Miller is that different than Griffin Canning and Dane Dunning, but he's definitely the worst version of the 3. Pay attention to the ownership there. That's the only reason you would want to do it, because Miller does get like absolutely blasted by lefties. And if that's the case, Alvarez and or Tucker are going to be in really nice spots. Like Alvarez and Tucker as one-offs, not a problem. What I want, though, is Framber Valdez. 86 park factor for runs, so you're not expecting a lot of scoring. It does limit lefty power a little bit. Valdez doesn't give up power at all. 140 ex-ISO to lefties, 156 to righties. He does get all of his strikeouts against lefties. Now, it's probably going to be only JP Crawford as a lefty. He's going to see, my guess, he sees 8 righties. I don't think that matters all that much because I think he just stands out in a really nice park. I am getting to Valdez. He's 18% owned. I have 27%. I think he's a little under-owned at 18%. Nothing crazy. As I pull it up here, though, pitcher's props. Framber Valdez strikeout prop is set at 5.5. The over is juiced minus 156. I got him projected for 6.3. So I think that I'm pretty much spot on for strikeouts for Valdez. I think he looks really good. He is the second most exposed pitcher. Third. I actually have one additional share of Barrios. But I have 27% of Valdez. Definitely one of the stands I'm taking. I want none of the hitting here. 3.7 run implied total for Seattle. 4 for Houston. I don't have a Mariners stack. I don't have an Astros stack. I have one lineup with Sam Haggerty right now and one lineup with Bregman and Tucker. That is it. Now, these guys are getting no ownership. Other than Alvarez and Tucker getting love, no one else is getting any love here. And you should go to Alvarez and Tucker. They stand out. I don't want this game at all, though, otherwise. Give me Valdez, Miller, Astros bats, Mariners bats. Oh, boy. One more game to go, folks. Let's get through it. And hit that like button again if you haven't done it yet, guys. Only got 2 more regular season MLB strategy shows, which is kind of crazy to think about. I think there's no baseball on Monday or Friday. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm going to look quickly for next week. Friday, Sunday. Okay, so as best I could tell, there are no baseball games on Monday. So there's not going to be an MLB strategy show on Monday, obviously. There are also no games on Friday. So no strategy shows Monday or Friday. Looks like we have 4 games on Tuesday, 4 on Wednesday, and 4 on Thursday. You're going to get me Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I assume. All right, let's close it out. Giants and Padres. Coin flip game. 4.3 run implied total on both sides. Sean Manaea going for the Giants at 6K. He's 11% owned. Nice value option. Matt Waldron going for the Padres. He's 7K, 2% owned. That is also about right. I like Manaea here as a value option. I'll always like someone throwing in San Francisco. Park limits power in a big way. Matchup's terrible. Padres are very, very scary to roster. But Manaea, 111 x ISO to lefties, 182 to righties. It's going to be a lot of righties here against Manaea, but the park can save him. 82 park factor for righty power. If the ball stays in the yard, Sean Manaea can have a big day. 29% K rate to lefties, 23 to righties. He should be okay as a value option at 6K. I don't have any interest in Waldron here at 7K. Just a little bit too expensive. Decent matchup against the Giants. I look at it for stacks. Giants are 6% owned. I have about 4.5. I have 7 stacks. They're a value option against Matt Waldron. That's basically it. They're okay. Like the most expensive guy is 4,300. You can get to them. Waldron has only thrown about 600 pitches this year. 216 x ISO to lefties, 171 to righties. There's a little bit of interest to me for the Giants bats. I don't really have that same interest for Padres. Now they're 6% owned. Bogarts, Tatis, Soto, Machado, they're getting some love. I have 1 stack and 2.5% ownership. I just don't see this as a spot where I want to try to like win the slate in Giant Stadium or whatever it's called. Like that's just candlestick. It's just a tough spot. I have 5% of Bogarts. That's fine. If you get to Tatis or Machado, like I don't mind it at all, but I don't want to target against Sean Manaea. I think he's good. So I think this game is Manaea, Giants bats, Padres bats, Waldron. I don't have much to say on this game. It's just kind of ugly. I can, however, sum up everything that I have pretty easily. Let's do that. Let's look at my final pivot tables. I can make this a little bit bigger too, so everybody can see it. So my preferred pitching options today. Pablo Lopez, pretty clearly number 1. I'd say Framber Valdez is number 2. Jose Barrios, number 3. And then I like taking stands on Dane Dunning and Sean Manaea at around 10% ownership. Could easily change. Zach Thompson, not the worst value option in the world at 5,900. After that, if we're talking stacks, the 3 teams that I have the most of, the Dodgers. Now, that is mostly as one-offs, not a ton of stacks of the Dodgers. I'm okay with that. But the Dodgers are the team I have the most exposure to. The other 2 teams are the Minnesota Twins, who are semi-popular, and the St. Louis Cardinals, who are not semi-popular. That is my sneaky stack of the day. I don't have much of any other teams. Those are the 3 that mean the most. I have some Yankees. I have some Cubs. Not too much. But that is where I stand for today on today's slate. As of right now, Mookie Betts is the number 1 bat on the slate. Freddie Freeman, Max Muncy, and Will Smith round out the top 4 there. That's all Dodgers, as is David Peralta. Luken Baker, a $2,300 first base option, is actually my highest ranked non-Dodger for today. Well, folks, we are done here. I need you guys to hit the like button. That will help out a ton. Hop in the comments section too if you want to. NFL Strategy Show Matchups Edition coming up next. Laffy and Neil talking everything for the NFL. This is the big breakdown. This is the one you want to watch. They're going to go deep into this one. I'll be back with Greg tonight at 6 to talk about this MLB slate. Guys, I hope you have the best day. Enjoy yourselves. I will talk to you again tomorrow morning. Peace.